fintech. It's one of those horrible portmanteau jargon words in the world of business, but it is actually quite important. Financial technology is allowing millions of people around the world to gain access to bank accounts and methods of making payments and remittances. And nowhere is this more obvious than in Africa. Let's take a look.
The average Ugandan, the average East African has no time to come to the bank. Some of the banks are situated very far from where the people are, where they live and where they do their businesses.
Lowers costs. And of course it lowers costs for everybody. It lowers costs for the financial institutions and it lowers costs for those who use the services. And that is why it's so good for inclusion, because many poor people are excluded from financial services because it's just not worth it for banks to reach out to poor people.
Well, somebody who knows all about the success of fintech enterprises in Africa is Dave van Niekerk, CEO of MyBucks, and he joins us now from Johannesburg. Dave, thank you very much for joining us on Money Talk. So let's just get our heads around this. 90% of Kenyans have a mobile phone. Less than half have bank accounts, and that's why this is working so well for them. But just explain to our viewers how they still have to transfer money from somewhere. So how does M-Pesa work?
Great. Well, good evening, Matthew. So it's actually quite simple, really. Mobile money has been the norm in Kenya since 2007. M-Pesa has been around using what's called USSD technology, which basically is like an old form of text or SMS messages, where in a world where we all used to smartphones, this is a way for people to be able to communicate with financial institutions like M-Pesa real time on their old generation phones. So as you pointed out, 90% of the people have got cell phones, with a very small portion of the population being banked. But 60% of the country's GDP goes through M-Pesa. $1 billion a year transacts on M-Pesa in Kenya, and $230 million of that is people paying businesses. So it's actually quite monumental that more people are using mobile money than they are banked.
Right, but how does it work? So a Kenyan he's earned some money. How does he put the money into his M-Pesa account?
So it's quite simple, really. An individual, anybody, can load money on. What M-Pesa has is an agent network across the country where you can go and visit one of their sort of points of presence, and you can pay money to one of these agents. They load this onto your wallet, and the credit balance appears immediately on your mobile wallet, and then you can immediately transfer that to the next person's cell phone number or to a business to pay for services rendered. Okay. So typically, you must go to one of these agents to be able to put money in, but you could also cash out at the same point. If you wanted to take your money out of the virtual world into the physical world, you also go to one of these agents, you present yourself, and you transfer the money to them, and they pay you out in cash.
And now we have M-Visa coming along to take on M-Pesa. Briefly, do you think it can attract customers away from the dominant market player here?
You know, there's something to be said for being first, Matthew. M-Pesa have been around since 2007, so I think M-Visa are going to find it tough times to try and take M-Pesa's customer base. That agent network that I described to you a few minutes ago, that is key to M-Pesa's success. M-Visa uses slightly different technology. They are more smartphone focused. They do incorporate some old generation technology, but They don't have the agent network, and they don't work as well on the older generation phones.
Right.
And then M-Pesa has taken years to be regarded as a safe mechanism to put money in and take money out. So that credibility and that brand dominance is something that'll take a long time to be reckoned with.
Okay, Dave van Niekerk, thank you very much for joining us with that analysis.